As the oceans absorb more carbon dioxide, the chemistry of the ocean changes, putting many sea creatures at risk. The IPCC projects that by 2100, the pH of the ocean will drop to its lowest point in at least 20 million years. This means that tiny creatures at the bottom of the ocean's food chain will struggle to make their calcium carbonate shells. Nearly every sea creature from plankton to whales would be directly or indirectly affected. If the ocean food chains collapse, many people in the world who depend on fish for food will go hungry, and seafood may become a delicacy that only the wealthy can afford. Here, too, the news is not good. People are already suffering from climate-related causes, and more will be killed or sickened as the planet warms. Death rates spike an average of 6% during heat waves, so heat-induced deaths will probably rise sharply as temperatures increase and heat waves become more prolonged and intense. On the plus side, warmer winters could help reduce flu and other ailments. As temperatures get milder, ticks, mosquitoes, rodents, and other carriers of disease will expand their range and sicken more people, particularly in developing countries. Here in the United States, dengue hemorrhagic fever, a tropical, mosquito-borne disease, hit for the first time in modern times in 2005 in the lower Rio Grande Valley. Experts worry that dengue could become widespread in the U.S., and the reappearance of malaria is not out of the question either. Air pollution will likely worsen, since higher temperatures and humidities will allow more ozone and particle pollution to form and linger longer. This will produce more asthma and deaths from heart and lung disease. One scientist at Stanford estimates there will be 1,000 additional air pollution-related deaths per year for every 1.8 degree Fahrenheit increase in temperature in the U.S. More heavy downpours and floods will produce more diseases associated with flooding, like allergic reactions to mold and gastrointestinal disease outbreaks. Cryptosporidium is a waterborne parasite that causes an unpleasant gastrointestinal illness. Milwaukee experienced a serious outbreak in 1993 in the aftermath of that year's great floods. Warmer ocean temperatures also favor the seafaring bacteria that cause cholera. In the general irritation category, more carbon dioxide also helps plants like ragweed make more allergens, and poison ivy make more of its irritating oil. Most people will see climate change delivered to them in the form of higher water, energy, and insurance bills. Why? More droughts, higher temperatures, and more extreme weather will require lifestyle alterations ranging from what crops we grow to how we recreate. Climate change expands the range of conditions that we need to prepare for, and that preparation costs. Warmer temperatures will also mean less snow overall at certain latitudes because more will fall as rain, and the snow that does fall will melt faster. The consequences of this are plain to ski resort operators, a shorter, poorer ski season, but it also makes a difference to local water supplies. In some areas, snowpack will melt sooner and more suddenly, as it already is in most western states, and will flow uselessly past reservoirs that are still full during the winter. It also means rivers and streams will flow less during the later, hotter parts of summer. The difference this makes to farmers and ranchers is obvious, but it also affects people living in areas that depend on snow-fed reservoirs for water. There will likely be less water, and it will be more expensive. On the other hand, the IPCC projects increases of 5 to 20% in crop yields in the first decades of this century. But with increased drought, flood, shrinking water supplies, and heat, farmers will have their hands full, and production in some regions could falter or fail. A 2008 report by the U.S. Department of Agriculture predicts grain and oilseed crops will likely grow faster, but the crops will be more prone to failure if climate variability increases and precipitation becomes less dependable. Additionally, invasive weeds tend to grow faster than most cash crops with higher CO2, and some herbicides will be less effective. And ironically, with higher temperatures comes an increased potential for killing freezes. This is because plants start growing earlier, making them more vulnerable to sudden springtime cold spells. The consequences of this will likely be felt in the produce aisles. An April 2007 frost that followed a week of warm weather caused more than $2 billion in agricultural losses in the central and southeastern U.S. Even national security is in the crosshairs of climate change. The U.S. military and intelligence communities have recognized climate change as a threat multiplier. It increases competition for scarce resources, worsens conditions that cause governments to fail, and produces breeding grounds for extremism and terrorism.